Hello and welcome to part 1 of Vue JS Beginners to Advanced Interview Questions and Answers series. In this series, we will discuss important Vue JS interview questions and answers that you will come across during the Vue JS developer technical interview phase, whether you are a novice or experienced Vue JS developer. So once again, welcome to the series. Let us start our first question and answer session. Let us start with the first and most important question. What is Vue.js? Vue.js is an open source and progressive JavaScript framework. It is a popular front-end framework used by developers for building user interfaces and single-page applications or so-called SPAs. A front-end framework is a collection of tools, pre-written utility functions, and a clearly defined set of rules that simplifies building the user interfaces of websites and web applications. What is a single-page application or SPA? A single-page application or SPA is a website or web application that initially loads a single HTML page. While the user interacts with the website, only parts of page is updated using JavaScript, thus avoiding full page reloads. Instead of fetching new pages from the server, single-page applications fetch only necessary data in JSON format and use APIs to rewrite parts of current HTML page. This creates smoother, faster, and app-like experience. What is a progressive web app or PWA? A progressive web app or PWA is a website built with modern web technologies that acts and feels like a native mobile app. They are progressive because they work for every user regardless of browser use and offers enhanced features in modern web browsers. They are offline capable and uses service workers to catch data, allowing it to function without an internet connection. What are the benefits or advantages of using a framework like Vue.js? Without using a framework like Vue.js, we will have to write each and every functionality of the application on our own using plain JavaScript. Although it is possible, this may result in unoptimized and unsecure code. Also, this will make it difficult to work as a team because other developers may find it difficult to understand the code philosophy. On the other hand, Vue.js provides a clear set of rules, utility functions, and it does the heavy lifting of updating parts of page for us. What is create app method in Vue.js and explain its structure? Create app method is used to create a Vue app or Vue instance. The Vue app created using create app method can be used to control parts of HTML page in which the Vue app is created. And Vue.js is able to update parts of HTML page that are controlled by Vue efficiently behind the scene whenever necessary. Create app method is used like below, where we pass an object to create app method to configure the Vue app. We can call mount method on Vue app created by createApp method to specify which HTML element is to be controlled by Vue. We can pass an object to createApp method to configure the Vue app. The object can contain options to configure the Vue app like data, methods, computed properties, watchers, and so on as key value pairs. The object structure is illustrated below. What is mount method in Vue? We can call mount method on Vue app created by createApp method to specify which HTML element is to be controlled by Vue. The unique ID of the element that needs to be controlled by Vue is passed into the mount method. By doing this, we are telling Vue HTML element with this ID and all its descendant elements should be controlled by Vue. What is data configuration option in Vue JS? The data option is an important Vue app configuration option we can specify within the Vue app configuration object inside the createApp method. The data option is a function that returns an object. The object that data configuration option returns contains the names of properties inside the Vue app or Vue component and their values that represents the reactive state of the app or component. An example code is shown below. Whenever there is a change in any of these property values, Vue's reactivity system automatically updates the DOM to reflect the changes. What is interpolation in Vue JS? In Vue JS, interpolation is the process of placing dynamic data into the HTML template of the Vue app. Using interpolation, we are able to output values from the component's data or computed properties directly into the HTML template, making the user interface reactive and dynamic. The most common and basic form of interpolation in Vue.js uses the mustache syntax, which involves double curly braces as you can see below. What are directives in Vue.js? Vue.js directives are special HTML attributes that tell Vue what to do with a DOM element. They add additional functionality to an HTML element. They are prefixed with the v hyphen and can be used to bind data, add event listeners, control the rendering of elements, and more. Examples of Vue.js directives are vbind, vmodel, von, vhtml, v1, vif, and v4. What is vbind directive in Vue.js? vbind is a core directive in Vue.js used for binding an expression or data in the Vue app with one or more HTML attribute or a component prop. vbind establishes a one-way data flow, meaning changes in the Vue instance data will update the bound attribute or prop, but not vice versa. You can bind any HTML attribute like src, href, class, etc. to a data property in your Vue component. When the data property changes, the attribute's value automatically updates in the DOM. In the example, you can see how to use vbind to bind a dynamic value to href attribute of an anchor tag. What is difference between interpolation and vbind directive in Vue? Interpolation in Vue is the syntax used to output content between opening and closing HTML tags inside the HTML template of Vue app. That means interpolation is used to output content. vbind, on the other hand, is used to set or bind a dynamic value to some attribute of an HTML element. In the example, you can see how to bind href attribute of an anchor tag to a dynamic value. Also, we can bind the value of a data property of the Vue app to an HTML attribute. In the example, Vue link is a data property of the Vue app. What is vModel directive in Vue JS? The vModel directive in Vue JS is used to create a two-way data binding between a user input element and data property in the Vue app. The two-way data binding means a change in the input element automatically updates the Vue app data property which is bound to the input element, and changing the value of the bound data property update the input element's value. You can see in the example, two-way data binding is established between the user input field and the Vue app data property message. A change in the input value will update Vue app data message and vice versa. What is the difference between vbind and vModel directives in Vue.js? The important difference between vbind and vModel is that vbind provides one-way data flow while vModel enables two-way data flow. vbind is used for one-way binding. vbind directive binds a dynamic value to an HTML element's attribute. When the dynamic data changes, the HTML attribute is updated. But any change in the HTML attribute do not affect the data. Hence, it is one-directional. vModel is used for two-way binding between a Vue data and HTML user input element. The two-way data binding means a change in the input element automatically updates the Vue app data which is bound to the input element, and changing the value of the bound data property updates the input element's value. What is methods configuration option in Vue.js? The methods option is an important Vue app configuration option. Methods option specifies methods that belong to the Vue app or Vue component. These methods are used for event handling, managing logic, and can access the app data or computed properties using the this keyword. So I will wind up this video here. In the next video, we will discuss questions and answers on more Vue.js directives and Vue app configuration options. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.